Now, to shed more light on issues around oil and gas amid Forex crisis, which is the business of the day, is an oil and gas analyst, Bala Zakka. He joins us virtually from Lagos. You're welcome to Business Express as usual.
Thank you.
Mr. Bala Zakka, you're looking, you're looking cool this afternoon. Let me just say that.
Well, it's the motto of my secondary school, government secondary school, Askira Uba. The motto is hope rising.
Okay.
So my hope, I'm always an optimistic person. That's the motto of my secondary school.
Looks like you are not feeling the impact of this economy in Lagos. Looks like. well, to delve into it, so much has been said when we had the fuel subsidy in place. A lot of complaints about we are not actually accessing the potentials of our resources and things like that. But with the fuel subsidy now gone, we thought that the situation is supposed to change. We're supposed to see more of this Forex stabilizing our Forex market. Why is that not happening at this point in time?
Well, thank you for that excellent question. Whenever I see energy journalists, asking such questions, the first thing I do is I salute their courage, to ask such excellent questions. And the reason was because at a point, everybody was saying Nigerians needed to bite the bullet. Nigerians needed to bite the bullet and let subsidy go on the only material or only product that was remaining, which was petrol. Before the removal of subsidy on the price of petrol, it was very clear, honestly clear, that the removal on the price of kerosene didn't help Nigerians. It was very clear that the removal on the price of aviation fuel didn't help Nigerians. It was also very clear that the removal on the price of diesel didn't help Nigerians, because it was very clear that the strategic industrial sectors were suffering, strategic domestic sectors and strategic commercial sectors. And all of them then were managing, and they all moved towards petrol. But when the subsidy was removed on petrol, like Nigerians, we are used to struggling, supporting our leaders and managing. It became very tough, but Nigerians were really trying to manage. I think what really broke the camel's back was the floating of the Nigerian naira. Immediately that one was done, it was very clear that things were going to go terrible. But we are in it today, and we are a country of resilient people. We will continue to support our government, but there is a need for internal recalibration, because things cannot continue this way. In your presentation, in your prologue today, you said import duties or custom duties were going to rise, because custom will soon adjust certain things in line with the exchange rate, whether official or parallel. So it's very clear that Nigeria is in a very tight corner. To me, I will continue to personally forgive those who insisted that we should float the naira and we should remove subsidy on the only product. The reason I will continue to forgive them as fellow Nigerians was because they were actually analyzing the Nigerian economy from a different direction. Many people thought Nigeria was right to be run as a capitalist nation. But honestly, Nigeria wasn't right. Because as at that, it was very clear that we were producing little or nothing. It was very clear that our health sector was not doing well. It was clear that our manufacturing sector was not doing well. But many of those people were coming from economies where the economies were really matured, where the government has developed the economy for the citizens and empowered them, and the citizens were creating aggregate mobilities of labor, and it was good. So, but the thing is, we are already in it. It's very, very unfortunate, but we just have to sit down. But what I feel right now is, I think there is so much panic, and it is that panic that is probably making the naira and the foreign currency to be looking the way they are.
Mr. Zakka, why is it that our situation is different from other countries? Now, other Arab countries are enjoying the windfall of rising prices in oil, as we are seen affected by other factors around the world. But in our own case, it's a different case. Why is it like
that? Well, I will again thank you for this question. You know, some of us pointed it out. And Nigeria, honestly, as a country, was well protected. You know, remember, Nigeria is a member of OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, that takes care of the crude oil side. Then Nigeria is a member of Gas Exporting Countries Forum with headquarters in Doha, Qatar. And that other cartel again takes care of the gas. So ordinarily, whether you were talking about the crude oil and its derivatives or distillates, we were supposed to be safe. Whether you were talking about the derivatives of gas, we were supposed to be safe. But even apart from that, people should remember that Nigeria has even produced an OPEC president in the name of Dizani, former president. Then Nigeria has also produced the OPEC Secretary General, late Sanusi Barkindo. So people like me, when we were experiencing vandalism, when we discovered our refineries were not going to work, I technically expected that since we belong to the same cartel, refineries work in Saudi Arabia, state-owned refineries work in Qatar, they work in Libya in the days of Gaddafi, they work in Malaysia, they work in Norway, Brazil, Iraq, Iran. I expected that our leaders were technically supposed to seek for advice from OPEC, because we are a strong member of OPEC. OPEC members, how come you do not lose 1 barrel of crude oil to vandals? How come your refineries are working? Then in the case of gas utilization also, we belong to a strong gas cartel, GECF, Gas Exporting Countries Forum. How come the members that have so much gas, they could use it to turn gas turbines and generate electricity? From natural gas, they could get ammonia. From ammonia, they could get urea. From urea, they could get fertilizer. So to me, I think somehow, somewhere, there were some forces that were too strong, and they took advantage of the vulnerabilities of our leaders. Because at a point, there were minority voices that were saying the route we were taking was going to be a dangerous one. But everybody was talking about opening the market, competitive marketing. And we said Nigeria is still a third world country. Our economy was still crawling, you know. So, and they said we should, and we practically explained that since you remove subsidy on all the other products, the only product that was holding Nigerians together then was petrol, because strategic sectors have already collapsed. But there were also suggestions also that we needed to bite the bullet. And biting the bullet, also we removed the subsidy. Then the worst one was when some people said our currency was overvalued. Let me explain that in practical terms. It's just like if you are a first class material, then some people amongst your family will be telling you that you should go to third class level. We were not supposed to devalue our currency, even if we had certain things we needed to do. But we already seen as a country that has good currency, we needed to build up production. Okay. We were not supposed to do that, Zakka, but we are in it today.
Okay, Mr. Zakka, I understand you have a very strong opinion about that. And there's this key projections from different bodies have projected that there might likely be improvement in crude oil production in Nigeria. So they somehow target kind of 2 million barrels per day in the 2024 budget. Is that achievable, considering the fact that that the federal government is working to see that it addresses issue of crude oil theft?
No, it's not. You know, I'm talking to you as a very loyal Nigerian, and I'm talking to you as a Nigerian who has been practicing in the oil and gas industry in the last 3 decades. And I'm very active today in the upstream in drilling. So I'm very active. I have an idea of the drilling rigs that are in Nigeria. As I speak to you now, Nigeria does not have up to 15 active drilling rigs. So based on that, I can tell you what the production is going to be. I'm very experienced in that. And as I speak to you again, multinationals are actually running away. And they are using the technical term called divestment. That thing is dangerous for Nigeria because it is sending signals that why you call them multinationals is because they are operating in other parts of the world. A practical example is this. There is a multinational company operator that is in Nigeria. Last year, they did not drill up to 6 wells in Nigeria. But that same company has moved to East Africa and they are planning to drill 450 wells across 5 years, which means every year they are going to drill 90 wells. Honestly, let's be honest to ourselves, because we are talking about a global.
Why are they not drilling as much? Why are they not drilling as much in Nigeria?
Because they are experiencing business climate hostilities. Their products are being stolen, and also the cost of operation is very high and expensive. Another thing I want to tell you, even when you go to the rigs, whether on land or swamp or deep water operations, all those barges you are seeing, they are running on diesel. At the cost of diesel, you can't break even. If you go to a hospital that is supposed to house 200 capacity patients, do you know, even if they have 20, they will run the hospital on diesel generator throughout the night. They can't break even. If you go to a hotel that is supposed to have like probably 200 guests, do you know that even if they have 50 guests, they will run a diesel generator throughout the night. They can't break even. So when you go deep offshore, whether you have the drilling rigs, the tugs, the barges, the vessels, they are running on diesel. And they also have staff that are Nigerians. Many of these staff will continue to ask for higher wages in line with the devaluating value of the naira. So it's a practical reality. Somebody does not even need the knowledge of the oil and gas industry. So the reality is here. I'm only appealing to our leaders that, let us recalibrate our strategies. But I can tell you, those who ill-advise the leaders got it wrong, but they are also remorse, because all of us are in it today. And that's why I told you the.
So how do we get it right? How do we get it? How do we get it right?
Honestly, personally, if you ask me, personally, let's go back to internal domestication. Because with the business climate hostilities today, multinationals are not coming in to invest. The climate harsh for them. But for us, internally, let's internally revive our refineries. Because if we revive our refineries, starting from the first one in Port Harcourt, let's start getting the distillates internally. That will wage us against Forex of importation. That is what we need to do. If anybody tells you that we need to sell our refineries, you ask him, why is it that in Iraq they are not selling their own state-owned refineries? Why is Saudi Arabia not selling? Why was Gaddafi not selling? Why are they not selling state-owned refineries in Qatar and Malaysia and the rest? Let's take care of our internalities. Then those who have private refineries, of course, right from the beginning, they are after profit maximization. They can produce their products and sell to the West African coast and pay taxes to Nigeria. So it is a situation. Thank God we already have existing refineries. Let us not go into IPO. Initial public offers, because it's not going to be in our favor. If we go back to internal domestication, we will first of all wage ourselves against Forex and let us gradually recover, and we can recover. I know Nigerians' resilience, we can recover.
Okay, thank you very much, Bala, Zakka, oil and gas expert. Thank you very much for that insight, critical insight.
Thank you.